So we are in Taurus season, and this morning I didn't go to bed last night. So for the first time in a very long time, I caught the sunrise. Wow, lucky me, because I didn't fall asleep. As the sun was rising on the eastern horizon, it was actually in the constellation of Taurus. Even though Earth revolves around the sun, the way our constellation is set up kind of revolves around us, because we're humans like that. So when the sun rises and it's on the eastern horizon, it was rising in the sign of Taurus. This is how we know we are in Taurus season, because the sunrise during this time is rising in the sign of Taurus. So as time progresses on, and I believe, what is it? Sometime in May, we're gonna move over into the season of Gemini, and the reason why is because as we are traveling around the sun, eventually, when the sun rises, it's gonna be in the sign of Gemini. Ah, see, there we go. In honor of the season, I'm going to talk about Taurus energy. I'm going to rant about Taurus energy. What is Taurus? And what's that energy that it holds? First of all, it's a bossy bottom princess. And don't let anybody tell you anything different. And they won't tell you anything different. They will gladly admit to that. I know it. Taurus loves to enjoy life, because everybody likes to enjoy life in their own way, but the way Taurus enjoys life is very physical and tactile, and it's all about your senses, and it's all about what you can feel and what you can taste, very specifically what you can taste, and we'll get to that. What you can smell, what is around you, what are you looking at. Anything that is very physical and tactile. God, they know how to fucking enjoy it, and I'm so envious of it. I don't have Taurus energy in my chart. I have Scorpio energy, which is opposite of Taurus, so I think I maybe get pleasure out of seeing them get pleasure in an interesting way. So Taurus equals pleasure. Like, seriously. Fucking love pleasure. Like I said, a bossy bottom princess, yes. And actually would probably ask you to feed them while you're fucking them. And here we go into food. And I'm not here to take jabs or anything. And they probably will even admit this isn't a jab to them, because they'll be the first to admit how much they love food. Because again, we're going into the physical senses and the sense of taste and smell and touch, right? And Tauruses love food. And I mean, generally we all love food, right? But I mean, a Taurus, I think we love food, but I don't think we experience the pleasure of food the same way a Taurus does. So yes, they are the life of the party. They know how to throw a party. And I think it's mainly because they like to drink wine. So they don't want to drink wine alone. Or actually, no, I take that back. Because there are some Tauruses that will drink wine alone, and they will drink wine alone as well as drink wine with you. So, but they like to share that with people. I think they experience pleasure at such an optimal level that maybe they feel guilty that it's just like to themselves, or maybe they're just very generous and they want to share what that feels like. And I'm glad that they do share it. Taurus is the original sign in the second house. So when we think of houses and signs, houses are synonymous with the signs and signs are synonymous with the houses. So Taurus is the second house. The physical part of your body that has to do with that house is actually your mouth. Right? So here we go with the taste and the food. And your throat also. And noted, a lot of Tauruses are good at singing. The first person that comes to mind is Lizzo. If we're gonna say this is a Taurus, like, look at Lizzo. I mean, is dope, right? And is the life of the party and just fucking enjoys life and just knows how to have fun. And Lizzo be eating and then just taking pleasure of everything. And she's a good representation of that because she really reminds people of that as well. And I think that's really awesome. I know a lot of Tauruses that are very gifted with singing, and also gifted with cooking. I've definitely have had the honor to have been fed by a Taurus, and it's always been an amazing experience. So Venus rules Taurus, and so that really gives them that gift of enjoyment, that gift of pleasure, the gift of voice, of creativity, of growing. And we're going to talk about the growing aspect. I think that's one of like the coolest things about, that's really their gift, is the ability to grow anything green. Have you ever given a plant to a Taurus? Actually, have you ever seen a Taurus take care of a plant? Or have you ever just heard a Taurus talk about their plant and how good they are at taking care of it, because they know they're good at taking care of it? Because that's their gift. They're really about growing. And that's why I wore this green scarf and this green beanie, which my mother knitted for me recently. Tauruses are probably the fucking best people, and that the best energy to grow money, to save money. Because really, saving money is growing money when you think about it, right? You put it into savings, and that idea of like something is growing and you're accumulating something, you're like, yeah. It's almost like they're planting this seed with the dollar. It's interesting how money is green, at least here in the U.S. it's green. But it's almost that in a very weird way, a representation of things that grow that are green and what those things give us, right? In this reality and where we're at now, that looks like paper, unfortunately. And Tauruses, I believe, they just adapted to it because they understand that that paper, that green paper, that's going to get them the essential things that they need. So now we're going to go a lot deeper into the Taurus energy. The essential values and the things that are valuable because they are essential. So this is why they're very good with money, because they know in order to get the things that they need that are essential, they need to have money. And I think they're one of the best signs that recognize that in a very human way, and not so much in a selfish way, but in a very I need to feed myself kind of way. And I think we're all learning that, and we're all understanding that collectively during this time right now, during this pandemic, that what is essential, right? Because right now everything's out the window and out the door, and the things that are essential really, and the things that have been open, one have been healthcare, and that is essential definitely during this time, but and we'll get to that later, that's more of a Virgo thing, the other earth sign, but the thing that is very essential has been food, has been. And I know restaurants have taken the biggest hit in all this, but it's essential that some of them are open, that the supermarkets and the grocery stores, that they're open because we need food. And like I was saying, Tauruses get that pleasure, and they understand how to feel that pleasure with the very physical necessities. And things that are essential, and food is the first thing that is essential next to water. Like that's how you live. That's how you have to eat. You can't skip that. So Tauruses, they know this, and I think because of that, makes them good with money, because they understand in order to essentially live, that they need they need to have money to get those things. They need to have money to get that turkey leg, and I don't know what else. Taurus is like everything. Get that hamburger, get that milkshake. Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. Yeah, seriously. And off on a tangent. I'm just gonna go off on a tangent for a second. Cows are very sacred. Cows, cattle, they've been sacred for a very long time to a lot of indigenous cultures. A cow is very much revered and is seen as sacred because it does give life in very different capacities to different groups of people and communities. But cows are very sacred, and so I think just to kind of observe that and to see that and how much they give back to us, and yeah, and we shouldn't take advantage of situations, and we shouldn't you know, desecrate land just to fulfill a very bloodthirsty need for them. I think they should be seen with much more dignity and much more sacredness than what they're seeing here in America. I'm specifically talking about here in America and other places too that are, you know, experiencing colonization and those type of evils. So we talked about pleasure, food, them being bossy bottoms and loving it. Yeah, they love sex. Who doesn't love sex? But who can experience the same level of pleasure of sex as a Taurus? No one can, except if you're a Taurus. And they'll be the first ones to tell you that too. So, and that's why they're bossy bottoms, is because they can just enjoy everything that is happening there in that moment. So yeah, so food, money, power, sex, drugs, no. Actually, yeah, drugs, yeah. Specifically cannabis, because it's green. It's green and it grows. And I bet if they have a plant, they're fucking badass at growing it. Can't top them. You can't top them in that way. So the essential nature of money and why they're so good at it, and because it puts food in their mouths. But I want to take this and I want to think about this energy in a different way, and why this translates to money is because of food, and that being such an essential nature and such an essential thing that we all need as humans, and they really understand that. And that's why they're good at growing food, and that's why they're good at taking care of plants and growing things, because humans have been doing that since we evolved. We've been cultivating and we've been growing and we've been connected to the earth, and Tauruses are really that. That is their essential nature, because they know that if, you know, now, like I said, it translates to money because that's how you get food now and where we're at in this reality. But we think thousands of years ago, and I'm probably sure Taurus is still alive today or doing this, is they grow their own food. They're good at that because they understand that nature, and they understand how to grow things, because that's their green thumb. That's why they're so good at taking care of plants, and that's that innate gift in them. They are an earth sign, and they know the value. That's the second house. Here we're going into that synonymous nature of the second house, and a lot of teachers will tell you second house is values. They value the earth because of what it gives us, because it gives us food. So they value nature, and they value plants, and they value animals because they know that it's a cycle. And that's why they're so good at cultivating and so good at growing. And if we didn't live in a society that valued paper green and valued the actual green you know, the plants that give us life, yeah, that we would all be taking care of that. So they intuitively understand this, and that's why they know how to grow things. They value that those things that grow are going to give them life in return, and it's this cyclical nature of them taking care of it, and them tending to it, and them saving, and them contributing energy to it, because it's going to give them something back, and it's going to give them food so they can fucking enjoy it. So they can enjoy the fuck out of it. God, yeah, I would really love, I mean, I haven't experienced this yet. I'm sure one day I will. To experience a Taurus growing something and then cooking it and then feeding it to me. Because I'm a Scorpio and I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take some of that too. So yeah, so Tauruses are, so let's kind of backtrack. Tauruses are very physical. They're very earthly. They enjoy and they experience pleasure of the earthly things that like no other sign can. That's really just them. And so because of that, they are good at taking care of plants. They are good at tending to plants and tending to nature and growing things. So that way they can experience it again. And so this is why it translates to money. And why they're so good with money and growing money and investing, because damn, I've never met a Taurus that wasn't good at money. And every Taurus that, just any new Taurus that I've ever met, just, I swear there's always going to come to a point where I learn that they're investing, or they're investing in something, they have like this huge ass savings account, or they know how to help you with your money. I've definitely have been helped with my money by a Taurus. So yeah, and how to handle my money and how to take care of my money. So yeah, I think. Oh, okay. One last thing. What I find is very fascinating right now, like I said, we're all kind of collectively going through this interesting time right now, where we're really understanding, we're being shaken up, right? The economy is being shaken up, our money is being shaken up, those systems are being shaken up. And we're learning that one of the most essential things that we all need is food. And that's why the essential workers and essential businesses that are open are those that can provide food in a very specific capacity. So we're all experiencing it as a collective. Isn't it interesting that Uranus is currently cohabitating in the sign of Taurus? Isn't that interesting? Uranus that, you know, really represents that shock and that shake-up, and has that Aquarius like revolutionary change to it, is in the sign of Taurus, in all those things that I had just mentioned about money, about food, and what we're learning, and what to value, and what is really essential to us, and we're learning all that collectively together. Thank you, Uranus, for that. But I really hope that in the end of this, things will change, because they need to. And Tauruses couldn't go back to their original innate nature of growing the green things, of growing all the plants, because they are the first earth sign in the zodiac. And then we're going to get to Virgo, the second earth sign, and eventually to Capricorn, my sign. Okay.